April meeting of the Riverside Township Board will come to order. Please rise. And Trustee Rob, would you please lead us, Trustee Clark, would you please lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Drapka.
Present and accounted for.
Trustee Clark.
Present.
Trustee Lufer.
Here.
Trustee Hollenbach.
Present.
Supervisor Wilt.
Here.
Let the record note, Clerk Blough's in attendance.
Thank you. The minutes of the March 13th Township Trustees Board is before you. What is your pleasure?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the March 13, 2018 meeting of the Riverside Township.
Do I hear a second? Second. I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the March 13th Board of Trustees meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none. All in favor of accepting these, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. The minutes of the special meeting of March 18th are before you. What is your pleasure? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of the Riverside Township meeting on March 18, 2018.
Do I hear a second? Second. Any discussion or corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Are there any communications?
Yes. There's a notice from the Village of North Riverside stating that on Monday, June 11th, the Riverside Golf, at the Riverside Golf Club, the North Riverside Youth Program and Educational Scholarship Fund is having their golf outing. I believe that we bought a sponsorship to this, didn't we?
We typically have sponsored that to the tune of 2 Eagle sponsorships. Since 2007, each year we've contributed $1,400. It's all for the scholarships, both college and recreation.
We also received a thank you note from the American Cancer Society for making our contribution for their Relay for Life event.
Thank you.
We also received a thank you note from the Riverside Township Lions Club from Joanne Cozy, the president, for the donation and the continue to provide services for those in need. We received a thank you note from Best Buddies International for our grant that we gave them for $2,500. And we received a notice from Tom Wetzel, Chief of Police in Riverside, for our $7,000 grant for the Riverside Department to re-outfit a squad car for a permanent traffic enforcement unit.
Thank you. I don't think any of those need immediate action. The scholarship golf outing can be addressed at a later date. Okay. Then on to, are there any visitors' remarks at this point? Okay. Then the supervisor's report, well, you just heard a comprehensive report to the annual meeting. I have nothing to report that isn't already here or under informational points later, so anything that I have to report is on the agenda. Are there any trustees that have reports?
The seniors are going to meet tomorrow, and we have an opera singer coming, Celeste Martino.
And just as an FYI, the exercise classes have been getting very good attendance, including the extra day. Average attendance has been between 14 and 16,
That's great.
all 3 days. So,
Good. That's excellent.
any other trustees reporting?
Yes, Supervisor Will, Trustee Clark, and I visited the Hauser Food Drive Kickoff. We're very happy to have their support as they donate an enormous amount to our food pantry.
Very good. Any others? Then we'll move on to the report of the Mental Health Board.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Mental Health Board, as you are all aware, received a Freedom of Information Act from a township resident. I am happy to report that Freedom of Information Act was fulfilled and given to the resident, and I have communicated with this resident via email, and we plan to meet in the near future to discuss any questions that he may have. I also want to apologize. We're missing some of our agency reports. I will make sure that those get into your packets.
That may
going
have been
forward.
my failure. I've been in and out of the office, and sometimes they're emailed to me.
Well, that's my fault, even though we've been a little busy. That is my responsibility, and I apologize to the board for that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions to that report? Hearing none, let's move on to the next item on the agenda. Unfinished business. As you know, we did recommend the budget for publication and inspection. And unfortunately, the timing of our meeting doing that and the period necessary for notice did not coincide. So the next meeting of this board will include the public hearing that will happen before the meeting. It has been noticed for
6:45.
thank you, for 6:45, but it is available for public inspection, and people can ask any questions that they need. So that is really just a point of information and timing on that budget. The building usage policy, I must apologize, I've had some family matters this month that prevented me from updating the policy as we've discussed it. So my top priority is to update that as quickly as possible so that we can begin the additional utilization of this building as soon as possible. As soon as I have revised drafts, including the material that has been presented to me about how the village opens, their policies, so we can coordinate and learn from them, since they've been doing that at the train station and at the Indian Cabin for a while. Therefore, we'll take a look at that and we'll coordinate. We'll review those costs that there were some question about last time we looked at the policy, and then I will bring that back with the revisions. I will forward them to you so that you'll have them for review in time for the next meeting. Any questions on that? Okay. We also have discussed the need for some communications planning, especially a priority under the new budget. We talked about a revised and updated website, and there are several of you who have volunteered to be on such a committee, so we should probably call a committee meeting for that purpose. Trustee Clark?
I think it's myself
Yourself and Fran, yes.
Do you want to do this?
Yes, I would like to,
Okay.
yeah. So since we'll need to implement it at the office, so. All right, is there a better day than others for us to schedule such a meeting?
Are we doing it during the day or at night or?
That's up to you.
Lunchtime?
Day's better.
Day's better for you? Okay. All right. You want to give me,
Do it like over lunch? Or if lunchtime's good, I know time you work, but you know, I'll have to take lunch break.
Right.
Okay. I presume that we're just going to be doing some work stuff so that this doesn't need to be an open meeting? We're just going to be kind of brainstorming, and no decision will come from that?
Right, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, what's a good day?
Next week, I think any day next week is fine.
Monday is out for me next week.
Me too, thank you.
And then for the,
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Tuesday and Wednesdays are good for me.
Tuesday or Wednesday? Okay.
Thursday I have a doctor's or a dentist appointment, so I won't be able to eat.
We don't, well, yeah, we don't
Do it
want to do
Wednesday.
that. All right, so we're looking at Wednesday, the 18th, possibly?
or the,
Okay,
what was wrong with Tuesday?
nothing.
I could do it at 12:30 on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's good for me too.
Okay, 12:30 on Tuesday, the 17th. Thank you.
And do we know where we're gonna meet? Are we gonna,
You can come to the office, we'll either, if this is available,
okay.
we'll come in here or the room 3 if necessary.
It's 12:30.
So Tuesday, the 17th. All right, that's tax day, folks. Okay. If there's nothing else under unfinished business, let's move on to new business. Regarding the Mental Health Board and some things that have come up recently, there was a request for a meeting between the president of Riverside and the president of North Riverside and myself to discuss some funding of such special recreation programs. There had been a discussion at the Riverside Board meeting, and they had wanted to take action to join WSSRA. And then there was some question of whether the Mental Health Board shouldn't be funding such things. The Mental Health Board reported that that's really not within the law of what they can cover. So there's been some discussion about that. You have all been given the memo from that meeting that was drafted by President Sells of Riverside. He is here if any of you have any questions, but I think this is simply to bring to your attention that we need to have some discussions, and it was the response to the Mental Health Board's position that prompted the FOIA demand for some history of the all kinds of records of the Mental Health Board. So a lot of time was spent on that, and I think that if we get into these discussions, there again, we're going to need a special meeting, I think, just for this topic, and I don't think we're ready for that discussion here. Possibly a special meeting or perhaps a meeting at a future board meeting. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I absolutely, think that we should look at this and look at it hard. The Mental Health Board, as I've stated to all of you, has offered to help Riverside Township residents with the payments of special needs kids to WSSRA. That falls under our mission statement. We can do that. I do believe that we need to have some discussion because there is a solution in here somewhere. And I believe that this board can find that solution without a question. So either we have a closed executive meeting because we're discussing financials on this. And then we have to come up with a proposal for President Sells and his board to consider. And now Mayor Hermanek and his board to discover. But, you know, we'd like to get this, I personally would like to see this get done, but I understand we have to take it. You know, we've all been, I know Supervisor Wilt and myself have been in contact with our attorney on various issues, and I just want to make sure that, number one, we're doing it the right way, and number two is that we benefit the township residents. Not just one town, not just two towns, all towns. Riverside Township residents. So that's what I want to see out of that. And whether it's a special meeting or whether it's executive session, I leave that up to Supervisor Wilt and the rest of the board.
I think we have enough on our agenda tonight not to try to
I
solve
mean,
those. We just don't have enough information at this point.
We're still ciphering through what we can and can't do on a township level, if I'm not mistaken, Supervisor Wilt.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the way to handle this. I'm not going to jump into something without us having all the information in front of us, so we can decipher it as a board, as a collective board, and get it done.
I agree with you, Tim. I think that's great leadership. And I think once we get the information, we probably need to have an executive meeting
I agree.
to discuss it. So we can probably set that once we have the information.
We don't have it yet, so.
Yeah, I know. So once we have it, we can set the executive board meeting.
All right.
And that information is coming from our attorneys and other groups in the area. So, and then the villages of Riverside and North Riverside have to present it, like I said, to their board. So I'd like to get us on board with a proposal to the villages, and then we'll go from there.
Very good. We will go about gathering some of that data, including dealing with
Do we want to
attorneys and.
say like by June 1st, or do we just want to wait till we get all the info, depending on when we get it?
Well, Supervisor Wilt, do you think that we could maybe do this in May?
At the May meeting?
Yes, for an executive
At
session?
that point, we should be able to
After?
do that.
So go into executive meeting after our regular meeting?
I would hope so.
Okay.
'Cause I know-
I'll target for that and try to get.
I would note that the timeframe is a little extended because of negotiating of the contract and that kind of thing. I don't think decisions are going to be made immediately, so we have time to put our ducks in a row and figure out what we can and can't do. Because I completely support the concept. I just need to understand how, if and how we would be able to participate.
Okay. Very good. I will work on gathering that data. Thank you. Riverside Arts Weekend, we had a request for sponsorship.
Yeah, I have a question on the Riverside Arts Weekend. Don't they usually put in a grant request for that, or?
Well, we did just make a grant to them for their general purposes, and, but then we received this request after that. So I believe, let me see, the grant was, and I don't have that one here. Let's see, we had grants.
That's to support the children's program.
Okay, so that was children's programming other than, and not raw.
That was for the arts week.
It was for the Arts Weekend, so you're not really looking for more support than this?
I have no idea what this is about,
Okay.
so I'd be curious to find out.
This says it's gearing up for the 2018, but this year is extra special. We're turning 11 years old. Our Saturday, May 19th, Sunday, May 20th, this vibrant event returns to the heart of downtown Riverside with celebration of art. We're asking for your continued support to ensure the success of this impressive community event. Please review the enclosed material, which outlines sponsorship packages. So, I mean, we had just given the grant when this letter came in.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a duplication of efforts then, huh?
Really, they couldn't retype this letter with the correct,
Yeah, it was addressed to my predecessor.
So the 218 grant to Raw for $1,400 for the children's art area in
And that's
music.
what we approved.
Yeah, we already approved in February the
Right.
$1,400 for the children's
Is that in the building
programs.
or at?
So, okay, all right, so then we don't have to worry about that one. Yes,
Checked off.
thank you very much. North Riverside Players Program ad. I don't know that the township has ever taken an ad for this. It's one of the cultural efforts within the community, and I think that we may have, yes, we're beyond their deadline, although I don't think that they've gone to press yet because their program is at the end of this month and beginning of next month. So if we really wanted to, we could still squeeze in. What is your pleasure?
Well, again, I see under the township grants we did award the North Riverside Community Theater grants in the past. It looks like $100 over a course of a couple of years, and this looks like $100 would be a full-page ad. So, maybe why don't you apply for our grant letter next time type of thing, you know what I mean? 'Cause it
Oh,
says-
rather-
Yeah. 'cause
Oh,
it
so we've done it as a grant in the past?
Yeah, $100 in March 2000, $100 in 2001, $100 in 2002. So I think maybe they should be applying for a grant on that one.
All right. I can communicate that to them. I don't hear any action on this particular request, so we'll move on.
Does the time frame allow us to go back, get more input, and then still vote? Or do they want an answer now?
Well, for the theater, players, North Riverside Players, their production is at the end of April, beginning of May, so, I mean, they'll always take money in the grants, but for this particular production, we're not gonna place an ad next month, because it'll be after the fact. We have a invitation from Riverside Parks and Recreation for the 40th Annual Independence Day Parade. Is the township going to participate, as always? I have to say, yes, okay. And I have to ask the trustees to take the lead. I will be out of town that week, as will trustee Dropka, I believe, so we will, we can certainly indicate
I'll
participation.
coordinate that with trustee Clark and trustee Lutford
Very good.
on both the Riverside.
And then we also have the Brookfield
And we
request.
also have the Brookfield, and I believe North Riverside is
and Leanne
coming.
and Fran too.
Pardon me?
Leanne and Fran.
Oh, right, absolutely, yes.
But we have to think about what we want to give away.
Actually, I've had so many compliments on what we had last year. We did place an order for more of those,
Sure.
if that works for you.
I thought. it
That's
was-
great.
Yeah, Fran, we're well, did we already place that order?
Marjorie,
we
is that
place the
order
order
placed
for the
already?
fans?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
and it's in production now.
right. There were a couple of other events that were coming up, and it was like, we needed something for those. And so it was like, well, let's reorder those, and if, we ordered enough so that they would work then too. But we can certainly, we
I
budgeted
was
for
just
some more.
thinking that maybe we should list some of the things that we do for the residents on the fan,
It's too,
And there's not a lot of space.
Yeah, I know there's
yeah,
not a lot of space,
yeah.
but is that possible that,
On some
Well, it's a-
future things, we can. I've been looking at the possibility of some magnets or something like that,
Yeah.
which would stay on the refrigerator, and they would see some of those services. We also ordered some items for the senior fair next
oh,
month.
good. But, yeah, just bullet point,
Right.
senior services, nurses closet, mental
Food
health
pantry,
board,
mental health.
food
yeah.
pantry, if we can just,
Assess-
bullet
right.
point those.
Sure, we can do that. But in these, we've usually just done cars in the parades and walkers, so.
Is it possible we can redo our metallic signs?
We certainly can look at that, yeah. We did order some new ones last year, but we can certainly figure out something.
Because they
Reasonable.
should say on them, like our names and then Riverside Township Trustee.
Okay. So that people don't think that in Brookfield you're a village trustee and in
Oh,
Riverside
they know
you're.
we
yeah.
are, or they know we're not.
We were getting echoed in Brookfield last year.
In Brookfield, they thought because we had those
We were.
Curry Motor signs, right? Is that where we got the cars from?
Yeah.
They thought we were from Curry Motors.
So we need bigger
We need-
identifiers for the
and
township.
it needs to be, more clearly stated who and what we are.
Okay, we'll look into that. I'll get you a quote. All right, we have approval can I have a motion to participate in first the Riverside and then the Brookfield parades?
Yes, and North Riverside are we doing, or?
We haven't received their
Okay.
request yet, and that will depend on how many people you have to split up, because two of them are at the same time, usually, typically.
That's gonna be something.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we participate in the Riverside Independence Day Parade and the Brookfield Independence Day Parade.
Okay, I have a motion for both of those participations. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. All righty. The next item is the discussion of extending township office hours. We have talked about that off and on, and I would, based on the proposed budget, and later this evening we'll go into closed session for salary review, but I know that this board has asked for little extended hours. I've got a good feel for how much activity we have at this point. So I don't want to go full tilt on a lot of extra hours, but my recommendation would be to extend the hours till 4 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and go till 5 o'clock on Thursdays, and stay at 3 on Friday. I don't know how that works.
Starting at 9 a.m.?
Open at 9. Staff usually comes in earlier. They can certainly answer the phone, but they try to get other things going.
I'll make
What
a
do you-
motion
what do
to
you-
that effect.
How do you, is that all right?
Yes.
That works for me.
Okay,
What was?
so it would be 4 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 o'clock on Thursday, and stay at 3 o'clock on Friday. So it would be 5 extra hours a week. And if we find that that's short, we can modify it later.
Can we modify it the other way if you find you're not getting business?
Absolutely. I mean, all it takes is a little paint on the door. Maybe we'll just make a sign instead of painting the window.
I'll second that motion.
Let me, ask, would, that, for that extra hour on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and the extra 2 hours on Friday?
No, on Thursday.
Or Thursday, I'm sorry. Would both Andrew and Margie stay for those whole times, or would one person be able to handle it?
Probably could handle it, and they could float on that. But it kind of depends on, if we find that we're extra busy. If that extra hour means that mom's picking up kids at school, come in for some services that they didn't have a chance to do otherwise, then we may need both.
I think this is a great idea. It's long overdue. It keeps us almost in line, or kind of in line with the Village of Riverside's hours. They have more activity than we do, but still, we've had people say, I wish your hours were more. I mean, this is a simple thing that should have been done.
Just baby steps, though.
It's a
I'd
baby
really-
step, and we can always adjust it to see what's happening, but I think this is a good first start.
Any other discussion?
Question?
it go into effect at the beginning of a week, certainly?
Probably should. Do we have on that motion, when would you like this to be effective?
May 1st?
May 1st.
No,
May 1st?
effective May 1st, yeah.
Okay.
Can I amend my motion to state that, May 1st?
Sure.
You know, then, I think we need to put an ad in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
So, can we add, or either make another motion that we spend, $200 to put an ad in the landmark?
I don't know if I want to amend my motion that way. Can we take one and then take another one?
Yeah, we can do that.
Could do that. So we have a motion, and will the second approve that amendment?
Yes, I will.
To, as of May 1st, keep office hours open until 4 PM on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, until 5 on Thursday, and stay with it 3 o'clock on Friday. There's no expenditure other than, well, we'll be talking about spending on salaries later. So all in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried.
I'd like to make a motion that we take out an ad in the landmark to let the community know that we're extending our hours, and I'd like it to be no more than $200.
I'll second it.
Question, can we, in announcing our hours, can we also throw in some advertisement about the services that we provide in there too, you know, kind of put
Sure,
some-
if we are extending the hours, that means that things like food pantry and nurse's closet will be available longer,
Yeah,
and so,
right, and
That
it's just
would-
like,
that would
not just an
be
ad
part of
that
it.
says, oh yeah, we're extending the hours, but put a little pop in there about, hey, you know, don't forget we do this, whatever. You
Yeah,
know,
then I
leave
think
that to
we
your
might need
discretion.
a little more money, and we might need a bigger ad. I know the ads that I took out, I think they were 1/8 of a page for the opiate thing, and they were 185. So do you think we can do this on 1/8 of a page, or do you think we need like 1/4 of a page?
I don't know, I mean, you know, I don't know how many words you get, you know, in the thing, but I would,
that 1/8 of a page might be enough for that.
Okay, so then that's $200, not to exceed 200.
Not to exceed $200. All right, I have a motion and a second to take an ad in the landmark advertising our new hours and the services that are available, and just in bullet points, so since this is an expenditure, may I ask the clerk to please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
yes.
Trustee Lufer?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. On to, you've been getting some notices of events in the community as you requested. I hope that you're participating in that. Right now, we just went with the free version of that publication thing, and that, but here are some of the events that you should be aware of. Village of Riverside has their open house for a public meeting, and you received that information. It is on this Thursday from 4:30 to 6:30, and it's regarding the proposed improvements to Blooming Bank and Riverside Road, the Burling Road to BNSF Railroad. So it's my understanding that it's an open house format. You can come and go, and there will be show and tell. So please note that in your calendars. You don't need to respond, just show up. There's also the notice that we received from the Judy Bar Topinka Charitable Foundation regarding their fundraiser that is also on Thursday, the 12th. So please note that for your information. And then there was the Hauser Junior High Feed Our Community event that you also received information on. It is scheduled for this Saturday, April 14th. Has anybody signed up for that from the information that?
I haven't, but I'm planning on going.
Can you send us the?
I think
link
we
to
need
the-
to register because they need to know who's coming and
All
when.
right, I will register
So
tomorrow
if you would,
morning.
yeah, if you would contact the staff and they can make that reservation for you.
Could you send us the Sign Up Genius link? To type all this in, I never can type. links in.
Okay, I will forward this, I will forward this to you in
Yeah,
the
that'd be
email.
great.
Okay.
So wait, we were gonna try to all do this together, so we
Yes.
still
Right.
on
I thought that you
9?
were on from 9 to 11.
Well, that's what I suggested, we all sign up together.
Oh, I thought that you had signed us up for that already.
You know, it's just,
9 to 11 sounds excellent.
is that good for everybody on Saturday morning? Brent's not here, but everybody else?
Yeah, that's what I anticipated.
Okay. So
Are you
is-
gonna sign us up?
So
Or
who-
staff?
We can
Send us
ask
an
staff,
advance.
Marjorie, could you take care of that tomorrow to sign up? But please raise your hands so that she knows who to sign up.
I will let you know first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Tom, are you in, or you're,
I have a 9 o'clock, appointment, but I'll come right after that.
Okay.
Do we just go to Hauser?
Yes, it will be at Hauser, but you'll get some kind of a confirmation from Marjorie once, because it's possible that they're filled up for
yeah.
that time. Okay? Very good.
I
And,
just want to say that they made their own Sign Up Genius thing for that.
right, that's the link that he is looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. A reminder that the Township Officials of Illinois Topics Day is also coming up on Wednesday, April 25th, and that's in Springfield. So if you want staff to register you, please let them know, let Marjorie know as soon as possible.
We could have sign up Genius for that, because I responded yes to that.
I did one for that.
You did for one, so do I still need
Yeah.
to?
But I might give you the link on there because, these always repeat the sign things, that's it, you can't sign up. So the fourth thing.
So, but if you get their responses, can we then have Marjorie sign them up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. How's that working for you, by the way, that Sign Up Genius?
It's great.
You like that? Okay. So yes, if you're planning to go to the Township Topics Day and want to register, if you haven't already responded to the Sign Up Genius that Andrew sent, then make sure that you do so that we get everybody registered for it. Aging Care Connections has also invited us to the Aging Well month kickoff luncheon, where they'll be recognizing the community gems, the volunteers that have been nominated by many community organizations, including ourselves. So that is on Tuesday, May 1st, the Grange Country Club, and if you need us to make the reservation for you, make sure that you responded to the request.
Wait, once again, I gotta sign up Genius
Yeah,
for that?
I got to sign up to you.
Yes.
on that, too. I think we all did.
And I
Yes.
responded yes, so do I have to do anything else?
No,
Okay,
again, staff will communicate with
Okay.
each other to make those reservations.
all right.
Okay? Nobody looks at bulletin boards anymore, that's why we're trying to do it this way. Okay, and the North Riverside Senior Fair is coming up on May 10th, and we do have a meeting just a couple of days before that. As I said, I've ordered some materials for that, as you had recommended at a previous meeting. And I know, Mary Rob, you were planning to be there. If anyone else is going to be there that day, let us know. It's only a 2-hour stint, and we can reach out to a lot of the community there. Okay?
And we did, we are presenting there, correct? I thought that's.
We have a
talked about
table.
that.
Yeah, we have a table.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
not so much presenting, but,
You're right.
right.
I move we go into closed session.
I second.
Have a motion to go on a closed session for salary reviews, What is your pleasure? All in favor? All opposed? Motion is carried. We'll go into closed session. We're back into open session. And Trustee Clark, you have a motion? Or
A motion to,
approve what was done in closed session? Basically, they,
okay, I make a motion that we approve what we did in closed session.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the results of the closed session.
Can I
Any
just
discussion?
add, shouldn't we say salary adjustments
Yes.
into that motion?
Trustee Clark, mind adding salary adjustments into that motion?
I make a motion that we approve the salary adjustments that we discussed in closed session.
I second.
Okay. Motion and a second to approve the salary adjustments as discussed in closed session. And this is actually a financial decision, so roll call, please.
Yes, ma'am, just one moment. Trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Drapka,
Yes.
trustee Lupfer.
It's either Lupfer or Lupfer.
Lupfer. Trustee Lupfer.
I will vote no.
Trustee Hollenbach,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion is carried, so on to approval of warrants. Trustee Lupfer.
So trustee Lupfer moves that the board authorize and ratify payment of the bills identified on the general warrant, April 2018, in the amount of $9,719.98, as presented to this board this 10th day of April 2018, seconded by trustee.
Do I hear a second?
Well, you have to, don't you?
Well,
have
he
to
just,
read them?
we usually do it as two motions. General is,
General and then the
and
rest.
then the rest.
Second.
I don't know why, but we do. Okay. I have a motion and a second to approve the general warrants for April 2018 in the amount of $9,719.98.
Question.
Yes.
What is the $25.62 travel reimbursement for Andrew Luto? What was that for?
He was sent to a session of the clerks, was it the clerks division? No, it was
The trustees.
trustees division,
Social
sorry,
media.
trustees division, yes.
On social media, so,
Social media?
yeah,
Yes.
that was at the last, talk meeting,
Isn't that done over the internet then? Social
No, it
media?
was not.
no?
And it turned out to be quite basic, and he was ahead of the game.
Oh, really, you were.
All right. So, please call the roll.
Trustee Drapka,
Yes.
trustee Hollenbach,
Yes.
trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Lupfer.
Yes.
Lupfer.
All right.
Crazy tonight, I'm sorry.
You're on.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes,
Motion carried.
okay.
All right. Motion by trustee Lupfer, seconded by,
Well, hold
No,
on.
just go through them and then we'll get the second after.
oh, I'm sorry.
Read that. We'll take care of the
Cut
rest.
and paste to the, so the utility warrant, April 2018, in the amount of $1,579.97. Payroll warrant of April 2018, in the amount of $16,863.70. The health warrant of April 2018, in the amount of $1,609.90. Grants of April 2018 in the amount of $5,500. Petty cash for April of 2018 in the amount of $0, is that correct?
Yes, there was no petty cash.
The general assistance warrant of April 2018 in the amount of $3,215. The township radio players warrant of April 2018 in the amount of $200. And the food pantry warrant of April 2018 in the amount of $172.98.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the following warrants. Utility warrant, April 10th, 2018, in the amount of $1,579.97. The payroll warrant for April 2018 in the amount of $16,863.70. The health warrant for April 2018 in the amount of $1,609.90. The grants warrant for April 2018 in the amount of $5,500. The general assistance warrant for April 2018 in the amount of $3,215. The township radio players warrant in the amount of $200. And the food pantry warrant for April in the amount of $172.98. Please call the roll.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Lupfer?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried.